Today's gospel from the 21st chapter of Luke speaks about how Christ said, "Not a stone upon a stone of the temple will remain. There will be earthquakes and signs from the sky. There will be persecution." This is, in a way, apocalyptic language, talking about how all things in some way will fall apart. And in Malachi, it says, "The day is coming, blazing like an oven, setting on fire the proud and the evil people." These readings can have different applications. The first application, of course, is at the end of the world, when the world will fall apart. When you think of this, we're quite alarmed by it. We see the negative aspects. But we must remember that the end of the world is the gateway to a transformation of a new world. This new world will be a spiritual one. It'll be somehow the transformation of the material of the present world into a spiritual world. This new world will not have earthquakes, will not have hurricanes, it will not have animals killing one another and killing humans at times. All these things will cease and there'll be peace. So the end of the world is not just a time for negative things to happen. It is a death that leads to the resurrection. There's another application of the reading today. It's the application of Christ on Calvary, dying. When that happened, the apostles thought, this is the end of Christ. And so did the officials of Rome and also Jerusalem, that Christ was no more. But we know in 3 days there was a resurrection. There was a Christ who had a spiritual body, one that was no longer subject to death. And now there's a third application of these apostolic words. And the third application, of course, is the present situation in our world, where things are falling apart, where the sinner is out of control, where the best of people lose conviction and the worst of people are full of intense compassion of doing what they think is right, but it's wrong. Yes, the world we have today, there's so much terrorism, there's so much violence. It's something like the reading in the gospel today. But we must remember also that even though it seems at times that evil is winning out over good, it just appears like that as it appeared on Calvary, or it might appear at the end of the world. But there will be a resurrection too when it comes to these things. A resurrection soon. When things fall apart, we think it might be the end, but it will not. Things will turn. Now there's a fourth application of the readings today. And the fourth application belongs to us, that we fear what death might be. But Christ gives us the hope and the promise of immortality. And we really should not fear death. But also at times in life, we feel broken. We feel broken sometimes because of what is happening to us, or if we have an addiction to any one of the 7 capital sins, an addiction to the ego, an addiction to anger or to envy, an addiction to greed, an addiction to lust, gluttony or sloth. Any of those addictions, in a way, enslave us, and we feel helpless at times. But we also should know that we have a Savior that can liberate us from all that holds us back. We no longer need to fear about death. We no longer need to fear about the end of the world. We no longer need to feel about what can happen to us. Yes, we are called in a way to hope, to love. And no matter how desperate things might be, there's always hope. There's always Jesus Christ who comes to save each one of us.